Hi everybody, Lori here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've got a fun, clean, colorful project to share with you featuring the new Printmaking Hearts stamp set that just came out in the newest Sweetheart release with Simon Says Stamp. And I love this Printmaking Hearts design. It was designed by one of my crafty friends, Miriam Prantner, and she has several other printmaking sets available at Simon Says Stamp. Just off the top of my head, I know she has a printmaking birds, printmaking houses, printmaking plants, florals, postage, pines. So check them out. There's several, and they've kind of got this clean graphic printmaking. They're like multi-step stamping stamp sets. Okay, so there are 3 rows of hearts, and I'm going to do each row in a different color. Okay, so the first row I'm inking up with PEONY. I'm going to be using all Pawsitively saturated inks. They stamp like butter. So cleaning off that. Now to stamp the middle row of hearts, I just used some scrap paper that I had kicking around. You could also use Post-it tape, whatever you want to do to mask off. So I'm using a soft orange, which is the shade Melon, to ink up that middle row of hearts. So you can see that there's little slices of hearts, and there's 3 different stamps to build up all the layers of the printmaking hearts. I'm going to stamp, sometimes you got to stamp it twice to make it nice. So I'm inking that up again with Melon ink to get a nice slightly more vivid impression of that row of hearts. Now for the bottom one, don't really need to do any inking. I'm pulling out Cadette. It's a nice blue. It always reminds me of marching band. I don't know why. Probably because all my years in marching band, I always went to a school with the colors of blue. And so we always had these bright blue marching band uniforms. But okay, so here's Cadette with that 3rd row of hearts. So now you have 3 different rows of hearts in 3 different colors. Clean off that stamp, and then I will lay on the second Printmaking Hearts stamp. You kind of have to line it up. I just eyeball it here. You just try to make sure it fits into place, kind of like a puzzle piece. You lock it in there on all the different shapes of the hearts. And then now for the bottom row, I'm doing another shade of blue, but just slightly different, using SEAFOAM. So it's a little more light aqua, and it pairs great with that Cadette blue. And I wish the Misty Magnet would hold that better, but you know, sometimes there's just no way around it. When you have a lot of stamps on an image, it's going to pull that cardstock. But if you have it butted up in the corner, you know you're going to get perfect placement. So I'm always relying on that, button it up in the corner. Now for the middle row, doing another shade of orange, this time SHERBET. And again, I pulled out that same scrap paper to mask off the top and the bottom. That way I only get the color on the middle hearts. How's everyone doing in the new year? Everybody we've got snow here in Illinois. Hank is in heaven. He loves the snow. I inked up this top row of hearts with Cheeky, which is a very light shade of, it's actually in the red, pinky red family. So it pairs perfectly with PEONY. Clean off stamp number 2, lining up stamp number 3. And that's all there is. There's 3 stamps to build up your printmaking hearts. I've been seeing a lot of projects over on Instagram showcasing this Printmaking Hearts stamp set, and what I find fascinating is all the projects look really different because everyone chose different color combinations, and it gives it a different look altogether. You can also die cut these hearts to get different layouts, and that's really going to switch up your design. So here I'm inking up the bottom row with Celery, which is a very light shade of green, and it pairs perfect with the SEAFOAM and the Cadette. Masking off that middle row again, just using that same old scrap paper, and this time I'm going in with Lemonade, which is a light shade of yellow. So you've got the blues and greens down the bottom, the oranges and yellows in the middle, and then on the top you're going to have your pink, and this last color I'm bringing in is kind of a red. So that's like sneaking in the rainbow. You know, I got to do it. I just love it. What can I say? But yeah, Hank loves the snow. It's kind of nice because actually the snow, he just gets a little bit wet. He doesn't get muddy or dirty, just a little wet. I'll take that any day over the muddy spring. So here we have, what is this, Pucker, which is a bright poppy orangey red, and it just kind of rounds out the rainbow love. Are you ready for Valentine's Day? I mean, I'm not recovered from Christmas yet, but there you have it. Now I'm going to take the coordinating die from the Printmaking Hearts, And I'm going to line it up, and it's one die, and it die cuts all 9 of those hearts in one shebang. Take it off camera, run it through my die cutting machine carefully while everything is still intact. I decided last minute I'm going to cover this with a little Post-it tape. That way I can leave everything intact, flip it over to add my adhesive. I thought about turning it into a shaker. Oh, yes, I did. But I'm not going to do shaker. I'm just going to do a little play on dimension. Pulling out the Simon Says Stamp white foam tape roll, I had a new one, and I thought, let's break it out in 2024. Okay, so I'm cutting out little strips here, top, bottom, right, and left. And then I'll do a few just little snippets in the middle, because there's nothing worse than a saggy middle. Am I right? I'm feeling that in January, the saggy middle. I'm telling you. Time to get on the treadmill. Okay, and then for the hearts, a little bit of tape runner. These are going to go down, like the hearts are going to tape to the card base, and then the foam tape is going to get that panel popped up. So you have a little play on dimension, a little high, a little low, a little up, a little down, and then carefully remove all the backing. You know, one thing that I really appreciate about this Simon Says Stamp foam tape, the backing is very easy to take off. You ever have some foam tapes that the backing, it's hard to get off? That chaps my khakis. Okay, card base, popping it on. And then I will carefully remove the Post-it tape. I'm using my little place and pierce wand and just pressing down those hearts so they stick to the card base before I lift up that foam tape. And now you have this subtle little inlay with a little shadow, little dimension, and lots of color and tons of heart. Okay, have I even thought about the sentiment? No, I haven't. What am I going to do? I always go for Kathy Zilski when I don't know what to do. I pulled out, this is an older one, SWOOPY Love You, and I'm going to die cut it with some matte gold. I'm not going to use the shadow die because I don't want to cover up too much of those hearts. So I'm just using the Love You, the SWOOPY Love You by itself. I went ahead, die cut 2 or 3 out of white. I'm going to stack those up to give it a little heft, little thickness, little dimension. You know what they say? Dimension is life. I haven't sang that one in a really long time, and I feel like I've outgrown it. Maybe I need a new jingle. I need a new jingle in 2024. Okay, topping it off with the matte gold, SWOOPY Love You, and then a little bit of glue on the back. And I'm just going to center it right in the middle of those printmaking hearts. And I decided just to live on the edge, just cock it a little bit up. You know what I mean? Just because. Put on acrylic block, let it marinate. While it dries, I pulled out these new splash, what are these called? Splash drops. These are also available with the Sweetheart release. And they got the 3 different shades, like a milky white, a clear, and a clear iridescent. I'm using the clear iridescent, again using that place and pierce poker tool to scoop those off the sheet and place them where you want them to go. And that gives the perfect little shimmery embellishment, but doesn't compete with all the color. And there you have a simple, clean, colorful Love You project for the upcoming Valentine's Day, or anytime you just want to say, I love you. If you're looking for more inspiration, check out the Smitten and Sweetheart release blog hop over at Simon Says Stamp. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.